I'd like to talk to you today about the ego. And the fact that maybe the reason why all the spiritual bitches are broke is because they've been trying to get rid of their ego. Okay? You ready? Strap in, because I have been cranky for like 2 fucking days straight because I have just seen all of this stuff in the world that I'm like, I'm over it. So let's go here, okay? I was just telling my fabulous, handsome husband how, there's this one thing that people who tend to have higher levels of wealth have in common, and that is that they sometimes excessively value themselves. They place an enormous amount of value on themselves as a being moving through the world. And they expect that because they place that level of value on themselves, that everyone else will. And then money literally has no emotions. Money's more emotionless than me. I actually have a lot of emotions. That was just a little joke. But money is very unemotional. Probably why I picked that Capricorn stellium, so I could really tune into money, right? Very unemotional. Money does not give a fuck. Okay? There is no emotional attachment to money. It doesn't care if you're good. It doesn't care if you're bad. It doesn't care if you deserve it. It doesn't care if you're worthy of it. It actually it's not programmed to tune into those things. It's tuned to go to where the value is. So if you value yourself as a being, other people will energetically respond to that vibration, and then money will energetically respond to that vibration. And then there you go, right? However, what actually causes someone to place value on themselves? Okay, it's typically going to be, what did I just say? I said 2 really good things. I said their identity. I had said something else, and I can't remember what it was now.
Identity and ego.
No, I said what comes from the ego. So basically, the thing that I'm wanting to transmit here, right, is that in the spiritual world, it's become very, very, very common. People are trying to get rid of their egos. First of all, you can't fucking do that. That's the stupidest thing I've actually ever heard, okay? The rage is strong this morning, so if I'm, annoying you, just turn me off. It's fine. You don't have to listen to me. But I'm going to have a rant here, okay? So the spiritual quote-unquote world has been trying to get us to kill our egos and get rid of our egos, and oh my God, that's my ego, right? Fuck all of that, because what is your ego actually doing? What is your ego actually? Your ego is your sense of self in the world. It is your identity. It's the way that you move in the world. It's the actions that you take. It's the value that you place on yourself. To have no ego is, in the spiritual realms, people paint it as you are one with the universe and you're just one with all beings and we should all just collaborate and blah, 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 and I wish money didn't exist and all that fucking bullshit, and I'm sick of it. Okay? And all those people who say that, they're all fucking broke. I don't know if you've paid attention to this, but they're all fucking broke. Okay? These people who are out here look at all of the success that I'm having. But simultaneously, they're flying off to fucking do a nursing contract. Except no, you're not actually full-time doing shit. Okay? I'm gonna some truth bombs are gonna drop here. Okay? Because I'm actually sick of this bullshit that has permeated the spiritual realm of business. I have been in business for over 8 years in this business. I have been around the spiritual realm as an entrepreneur for over a fucking decade, for over 15 years. Because I was a dancer, but I was a belly dancer. And especially towards the end of my dance career, when I had my dance companies, when I was performing multiple times a month, when I was literally dancing all over the United States, particularly I was predominantly involved with more spiritual leaning things because I was already so heavily practicing witchcraft and in different areas of spirituality. And I was, teaching chakra focused belly dance classes and all of this stuff over a decade ago. I'm so happy that people are just discovering what a fucking chakra is yesterday. But also some of us are just kind of over this energy. So I'm just going to express that. Okay. It's been around a lot longer than fucking TikTok. All right, it's excessive right now, and also with the astrology that we've got going on as I'm recording this. I mean, the moon is in Scorpio. It's all about transformation, death, and rebirth, right? And we're currently with Pluto has gone back into Capricorn for the moment, right? So we're tearing down final illusions, and if you're a millennial, you're Pluto is in Scorpio. Pluto in Scorpio, I call it the emo generation. Very well-primed astrology for emo to be a thing. when we were all like emotional and teenagers. So it's like, there's a lot going on right now of like, we're really being called to look at these things and to figure out like, should we even be doing this? Or are we just blindly kind of following what the quote unquote, influencers and coaches and teachers and self-proclaimed gurus have been out there telling us, right? Maybe we should put the Gaia TV down for just like 2 seconds though, okay? I'm just gonna be honest, because like the ego is actually how you move through the world. It's actually how you make anything happen on this planet. It's why you have a fucking name. And you're not just known as that being of energy over there, right? Like it really is. Your name is important. Your identity is important. The value that you place on your identity is important. And that is what directly influences the amount of money in your bank account. It is the identity that you place, or it is the value that you place on your identity, and the way that you move through the world is what directly reflects your bank account. And if you don't like your bank account right now, it's probably because the identity that you are moving through the world in is not reflective of the person who has that bank account that you are wishing for. And we've gotten really programmed in the spiritual business world to move like this, to try to eradicate the ego, to try to do all of this other crap. And I honestly feel like this is why I've talked to so many people who were well established, who went fucking broke when this like upswing in the TikTok astrologers and all the people who had literally heard the word ego like 5 minutes ago and decided to get their tits out and record a video about it and then talk about how they were the divine, the divine feminine embodied, right? TBH, it takes a little bit more than showing up in a bikini and talking about how erotic and orgasmic life is to be the divine fucking feminine embodied, and I'm sick of it. Because you know what, actually, this podcast episode is me being the divine feminine embodied. I am sick of this shit, and I'm expressing my rage. And that is actually the most divine fucking feminine thing that a woman can do on this planet. It's not to show up in a fucking bikini. It is not to fucking further sexualize herself when all she has been is sexualized, okay? It is actually to show up and express how you feel. And if how you feel is orgasmic and erotic and in a bikini, then get down with your bad self. But for most women, it's not. That's actually just another performative narrative of the patriarchy that's coming through in spiritual entrepreneurship. Mic fucking drop. The manifestor rage is strong today, okay? So, just an FYI. There's my feelings on that. So, I propose that for the rest of the September, I'm going to be the most egotistical bitch on the face of the earth, okay? I am going to love myself above all else. I am going to craft the identity that I want to move through this world with, because you can. You don't have to go through the world with the identity that you were given or that you were programmed into. This is how I built Harvest Rose. This is how Rose Dumaine was born. Rose Dumaine's not my real name. Rose Dumaine was born in 2016 with Harvest Rose Witchery. She really was. But now it's like, you can always craft. Now there's Elena Rose Dumaine, right? I'm crafting her. It's like, I'm like Prince. Eventually, my name's just going to turn into a symbol, okay? But that's part of the ego. That's part of the identity.
Yeah.
And the identity is the most important part of entrepreneurship, because if people don't know who you are, what you identify with, what your values are, they don't know if they're in resonance with you. They don't know if they want to shop with you, right? Why do people go to Bass Pro Shop? I'm always going to pull the wildest examples out because I can, and I love it. People go to Bass Pro Shop because they identify with the identity of being a hunter, being a fisherman, being a good old boy, needing some ammo, being a good old girl, I guess. Like, you don't see a lot of highbrow people in Bass Pro. I haven't been in a Bass Pro Shop in like a decade, but I remember right after my marriage broke up, I went on a date with a guy. We went to a Bass Pro Shop, and I was like, good God, I've got to get out of North Texas. We didn't go out again. I didn't know we were going out to a Bass Pro Shop, by the way. I'd like to state that. But we went to a Bass Pro Shop. And it was not the pyramid either. That would have been cool, because I would have been looking for like occult shit and supernatural things all in the pyramid. No, it's just like a regular ass Bass Pro Shop. So, yeah. It was like the very first person that I went out with after my marriage was over. I didn't go out with him again. It was a long weekend. He had a cabin or a family like place. I was like, oh yes, it was not. I left early. There was mudding on a 4-wheeler involved, and I was like, abso-fucking-lutely not. up. And do you know why? Because that's part of my identity. That's part of my ego. I'm not going to get on a fucking four-wheeler and go mudding because I might break a nail, or I'm going to get dirty, and I don't like that. I have a Virgo moon. Like, what do you want from me? It's not going to happen. I'm a fucking princess, and that's the way that I move through the world. But the thing is that the spiritual world has really tried to eradicate all forms of individualism, all forms of identity that separate people. And the truth is, that's what makes us amazing. That's what makes us badasses. That's what makes us, that's why we're fucking here. We're here to not be liminally embodied in the state of nothing. We're here to be incarnated in the fucking physical form and to have an identity. We're not here to be, just part of the Arcturian collective, or I'm just a Pleiadian being of light. Like, okay, well, how much money are you making as a Pleiadian being of light? How much money do you think a planet makes as a soul? How much money do you think a frequency makes? How much money is in a frequency's bank account? How much money is in a vibration's bank account? How much money is in the ether's bank account? So I talk about doing business upstairs, right? When we're not incarnated on Earth. And here's why, because there's different levels of the matrix. A matrix is just a method of, it's just a grid. It's an energetic grid that helps a collective of people to define the world. You're always going to have a matrix to be in the physical form, because otherwise one person would look at a lamp and see a lamp, and another person would look at a lamp and see a bowl of spaghetti. And then people would be arguing about whether or not it's a lamp or a bowl of spaghetti. The matrix is useful. Okay, energetic grids are useful. Collective consciousness is useful. Attempting to force everyone to, it's just another version of conformity. Just trying to get people to conform. We must all be one and collaborate and co-exchange, and let's just eradicate money because it's bad and blah, blah, blah. And yes, I'm actually making fun of these people because I think they're stupid. I'm going to be honest. I actually do. I think that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Why the fuck would I have given up being on my magic carpet, zooming around my astral mansion with all of my astral art collection, with everyone that I love and adore across time and space in my beautiful home? Why would I have given that up to come to a fucking planet with taxes?
Yeah.
And old guys who will not listen when I say I don't drink, repeatedly try to get me to have a bourbon, and are obnoxious. Why would I have done that?
And when you constantly tell them that you have celiac, that they immediately keep talking about restaurants.
They're like, well, now you could go eat breakfast over here. They've got some real good toast. Like,
this place has got ribs. This is the best sushi in the tri-state area.
We had an experience. There was a whole group of old white fuckers who were all having like midlife crises on motorcycles. Like street legal dirt bikes, staying at the place that we are right now, and they would not leave us alone, and it was really fucking annoying. And we were like, oh my God, go away. We got up this morning and they were gone, and I was like, yes, it was amazing. But like, yeah, why would we have done that? Why would we have gone to a place like this? Like, and also, I have an identity in heaven. I don't know how to tell you people this. I am not just some random being. No, I am who I fucking am across space and time, and so are you.
Right.
And this is actually the spiritual war, quote unquote, that they are all talking about that is actually being fought. It's the fight against your identity. It's the fight against who you are. It's the fight against you coming to Earth and expressing your individualism rather than conforming to the narrative of the spiritual fucking matrix. That's what it is. That's actually the war. It's not the Christians. But, now look at this. The Christians, they all want to conform. They all want to be one reborn under God, right? They don't want to have any identity. They all want to wear the same long fucking skirts to church and, judge gay people or whatever they're doing these days. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Christians have been wilding for 2,000 years. I can't keep up with what they're on this moment in time. I mean, I'm still stuck in the years when the popes all had like the mistresses and like the big ass family. Like, I'm still in the Borgia times with the Christians. I just haven't even bothered to, I don't care. I was in it for a long time, this incarnation. And fun fact, I have read the Bible 6 fucking times. So I know a lot about it because I was bored and I was little. And I decided to educate myself and take on every single old white dude in the Church of Christ in Antlers, Oklahoma. And in one Sunday, they would not even talk to me about religion anymore because I knew more than them. I pwned an entire church when I was like 8. It was great. Fuckers. Anyways, I've been raging against the machine for a long time, okay? If anybody expected a witch to come quietly into that good night, they are barking up the wrong tree or whatever. But that's the thing, right? This spiritual, it's really, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna call it out. It's come from a lot of these New Earth people, which really sucks, because we are in a new era of Earth. But that's the thing, they always conveniently leave out some words, right? They always conveniently leave out some words. Like they did that in the Bible a lot too. I'm convinced half the shit in the Bible, it's only fragments of the translations. Because if you think about it, you can make a message say whatever you want if you just edit it enough. You know what I mean? I love you. Well, hold on. I was gonna, I forgot to say all the words. See? I don't like Chad in the least. I love Nick and I hate you. Can be turned into I love you if you take out enough words. Right? I'm gonna have a sip of coffee. I need a little caffeine. So, like, I'm just saying, that can happen with historical documents, which is all that the Bible was comprised around. And also, if you ever want to really blow your mind, look up when the Bible was actually, like, really kind of codified and put together. And look up how that intersects with World War II in the 1940s and the Nazis. It's very interesting. The Bible didn't used to be everywhere. It was a marketing campaign that came up when they did the newest version of the Bible in the late 1930s, early 1940s, and then went on a marketing campaign to get it into every single hotel room in America and all of that other shit, right? And really spread the conformity. That's happening in the spiritual matrix as well. The spiritual, quote-unquote spiritual matrix, right? All these people who are out here running around about New Earth and starseeds and all this other stuff, most of them are actually just spreading more Christian bullshit that's thinly disguised as New Earth or starseed or cosmic. And I know because I've spent the last many years looking. And that is not to say that the core message of what these people are saying is wrong. We are in a new era of Earth, and I am a fucking alien, okay? That's just how it is. Like, the aliens are here. The aliens are real. No big deal. New era of Earth loading. New energetic grid. Gonna happen. You know. Happening as we speak. But it's not this stuff that you're being programmed to believe. And the eradication of the ego is, I think, the thing that is actually damaging people the most right now. And I think we should all collectively stop. So I'm going to be the most ego. That's what I said. I said, a lot of very wealthy people have extremely large egos. And that was what got me thinking about this. I thought, well, yeah, but the thing is, a lot of those people, you think of the billionaires and the very, uber wealthy that you hear of often, and how they tend to be kind of megalomaniacs who don't really have terribly original thoughts. Buy other people's companies and then act like they, invented it all. Musk. They do all of these things that just make themselves look good. Very in what people would call an overinflated ego, right? But what does that mean? What is an overinflated ego? Well, I would say an overinflated ego is someone who actually does very little and just utilizes... honestly, like what they do typically is they just utilize money that honestly generally is family money or obtained through other practices, not through their own brilliance or genius. And then they just do a lot of really good marketing and PR. That's actually most of what you're seeing. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of the people who are really screaming this the most have really good marketing and PR. That's actually the secret across time and space to legacies. It's your PR. Why are some of the Greek gods still worshipped and others aren't? They had better PR. That's literally it. This shit's been going on for a long time. Okay? So you're out spreading the word of the mystery cult of Hecate, or you're not. You know what I mean? Hecate had really good PR. That's all I gotta say. Is like, and she's maintained it for millennia. It's kind of impressive. You know? There's other reasons why certain beings are, I think, more ingrained still in the collective consciousness than others, but that's a different episode. But yeah. So, for the rest of September, I'm going to be the most egotistical bitch I can possibly be. I did this in 2017. My business took off. And I learned how to love myself. I learned how to create spaces for myself where I felt seen, valued, heard, accepted. All of a sudden, people were flocking to me. I went from feeling extremely disempowered and unworthy and unvaluable to feeling extremely empowered, extremely worthy, and extremely valuable. And it's actually because I gave myself an ego. For almost my entire life, my ego had been torn down by narcissists, by abusers, by people who did not want me to feel empowered, who did not want me to feel worthy, who did not want me to feel valued because of their immense fear that I would leave them and they'd lose their supply if I felt like that, which of course was going to happen. And so I decided to give that to myself. And I've decided to do it again. You know, it's like I went really far in the spiritual matrix, you guys. I'm going to be honest. I was telling Michael something about how a popular kind of celebrity coach / divine feminine person has ties that go back to another spiritual business from when she first launched her coaching institute. And I was explaining how deep the web runs with all of these people. And then how I was like, yeah, well, you know, I identified the launch patterns that I was seeing when they were launching this thing for the first time. I didn't like them because I knew them because they're old paradigm business. And then later when I was in this other business program, I identified like that basically these people were involved with that, while simultaneously basically marketing their own flows, their own formulas, their own processes, right? Except everything that they were using was straight out of this other guy's playbook. Oh, except guess what? He didn't even make this shit up himself. All of this stuff comes straight to you from the library of old paradigm business. So it's interesting to me that some of the largest leaders in the space, I've also identified, quote unquote, leaders in the space, right? The people with the biggest Instagram numbers, the people who are out here like, I made $7 million this year. You know, these people are all using the exact same techniques. And you can find this, you could go to a library and you could go to the business section and you could look at most books from the 80s, 90s, or thousands, and you would find this exact information right in there. It's old paradigm as fuck. It's like, you could watch Glenn Ross, the movie, Coffee is for Closers, and you could get probably a better education in business than a lot of these people are selling in their $111 masterclasses. I'm just saying. Maybe like if that's the vibe that you want to go with, or if you just want to see what I'm talking about. But like once you start to actually identify this stuff, but that's why that's why they're making money right now, because most people don't know anything about business, but I do. Most people also don't know anything about spirituality, but I do. So the financial matrix that we're breaking right now is the root chakra. And the spiritual matrix that we're breaking is really a blend between the third eye and the crown chakra. But that crown chakra, I'm telling you, is tied to your ego. It's tied to your sense of identity. And they are trying, these beings, this energy that is telling all of these people this stuff. It's actually disresonant energy incarnated into a human form, attempting to create more disresonant energy through their followers, through the people that they influence. Get rid of your ego. Oh my God, my ego just came in. If I hear one more goddamn reader say, oh my God, that was my ego. Let me get that out real quick. Okay, now I'm tapped back into spirit. Y'all, I've been doing fucking readings and over here having a panic attack simultaneously, asking the pendulum something, and I've still delivered the best shit known to fucking man, okay? I am sick of this energy. You can be a person, you can have an experience. You don't have to be some, perfect being. You don't have to keep healing yourself. You don't have to keep alchemizing yourself. You don't have to keep doing this shit. There's nothing wrong with you. There's actually nothing wrong with you. The screen literally glitched when I said that the second time. You've been programmed to believe that there's a lot of stuff wrong with you so that you will consistently pay people for healing, because we live in a world where we have a for-profit healthcare system, and it extends across literally every aspect of life. everyone has been programmed to believe that this is normal. So all these quote unquote new paradigm healers coming in thinking that they're changing the game, they're not. They're actually not. Okay? You change the game by showing people how to heal themselves. One, right? I'm seeing a lot of people on Threads right now who are really getting a big old ego hit from like, oh, look how fabulous I am. Like, real healers teach people how to heal themselves. The truth is, like, people have been very confused, right? Well, where did all your old clients go? I did the job and they don't need me anymore. Healers are supposed to heal and then you leave. They're not supposed to keep you coming back constantly for more. Right? So the thing is, though, is that when you have a practice or a business that's based on healing, which I would say that professional witchcraft and spell work, for the most part, it's healing when people get these spells. It's healing. I mean, literally what is happening is you're bringing the energy back to resonance. Once you have restored resonance, you don't have to continue restoring the resonance. If you keep, quote unquote, restoring resonance to something that's in resonance, you're going to create disresonance. So, like, people don't actually need to be going to their healers constantly 24/7 their whole lives. If they are, they're shitty fucking healers. If you are a healer, you have a business that people should be graduating out of. Now, will they sometimes need to come back? Yes. You need a top up. Maintenance is important. But the truth is, high-level healing should come to an end at some point in time. And a lot of people are just trying to keep people on those hamster wheels so that they can keep making money, because they haven't tuned into what are things that I can monetize, what is my zone of genius that is infinite, right? That's actually why I wanted to retire as a professional witch. I was tired of having to go out and find new clients constantly. It was exhausting. I was so good at my job. People would get everything that they wanted, and then I'd never hear from them again. Right? I have a small handful of clients who are still working with me. They've been working with me for years, but the truth is, for the most part, like, the people who worked with me for years on end, they were people who really wanted to do something with their lives. They really wanted to make different moves than the majority of the rest of people. They weren't just looking for healing. They were looking to utilize spell work and magic and witchcraft across time and space to generate the results of the incarnation that they wanted, which is very much what I do. I've got a spell burning right now. And they weren't people who just wanted something healed. They just wanted something fixed. If you are in the business of fixing problems, you're going to run out of clients. You're going to stay on a hamster wheel. You're going to continually have to find new people. You're going to continually, I feel all of this. It's so funny. It's a sacral chakra spell, and I feel this contraction in my sacral chakra as I'm saying all of this, but that's what it is, right? You get burned out because you don't have the luxury of like, oh yes, well I've got these 30 clients that have been working with me for 5 years, and even if I lose a couple, no big, right? I can just replace them. That's luxury energy. Production matrix paradigm energy is constantly having to go and new and blah blah blah, but you got to keep them coming back for more. And job security, oh my gosh, I hate those two words so much, because for the most part, it's about creating things that people really don't need to keep other people making money, because they haven't tuned into the concept of like infinite business. I'm going to talk more about that. I've got to come up with some terminology and define how I really want to discuss this. But it's like, why does my client who just bought some spell work from me a couple of days ago, has been working with me for 6 years, and is one of my cosmic besties across time and space, why does she keep coming back? It's not just because she loves me so much. She does, and I love her. But it's actually across time and space. Why have we done magic together? Because we've had big shit to do. And we know the power of lighting a candle about it. We know the power of doing some magic about it. We know the power, right? So why would we take the long way when we can just light a spell on fire about it? You know what I mean? And then But that's the thing. When she came to me, she just wanted I remember she wanted her love life wasn't going too well. Man had a wandering eye. It was a whole experience, right? Reason a lot of people came to me in 2018. I heard that story over and over. What was different about her? Why am I talking to her on a random Friday afternoon just cuz, right? It wasn't we didn't have a call. I talked to her on the phone cuz I just kind of miss her. I just love talking to her, and sometimes she's like, we'll just talk. It's fun. And she buys shit from me. It's fabulous. So, why though? Why her and not all of the rest of the people that I, talked to with the same story, which was hundreds of people with the same story over the years? Why am I talking to her? Because she had a vision. She had an identity. She's never once tried to get rid of her ego. She's manifested some of the coolest shit I've ever heard. That's not a thing I did widely with my clients ever. I came into this ego thing. I started discovering all of that part of the spiritual matrix in 2022 after I had moved to Georgia. I had barely heard anyone talk about it. It is a newer phenomenon that people have latched onto because people are so convinced that there's something wrong with them and they need to be fixed. So the ego is just the latest thing. Well, you got to fix that ego. Pretty egotistical, aren't you? Right? Except that's the thing is like, it's how the fuck do you think being a channel works? You think you're just surrendering to Sky Daddy and he's just filling you with the Holy Spirit? Nah, bitch, that's for fucking Catholics. Go away. I don't have to pretend to be a Catholic anymore, okay? This isn't 1200. I still got some rosaries around, though, because they're powerful, magical objects. I don't actually think I have a rosary with me. I haven't had a rosary around in a couple years. But if you need one, they're effective. At least in the old grid. I don't know how effective they are in the new grid. I haven't needed one in the new grid, so I'm guessing that probably tells us right there you don't really need one anymore. But in the old grid, if you had some energetic fuckery of a certain vibrational frequency afoot, a rosary would take care of that real quick. I mean, have you never noticed the similarity between rosaries and mala beads? It's all the same religion, just disguised with different identities. Ooh, and they don't want us as individuals to have egos because their egos are all too big as religious organizations. Mm-hmm. And the spiritual, business realm is they're just carrying that programming around. They're just carrying all their little Christian programmings that they got when they were little kids, and they're trying to heal their inner children right now. And they're not understanding that they're coming out and they're like, I'm sharing my greatest services with the world and I just want to be of service and I don't even want people to pay me. I just unfortunately have these bills, so a little pittance would be nice. Not realizing that they're basically spreading the energy of a religious MLM. Religions are MLMs, by the way. It's the same structure as an MLM. I would prefer Cincy to religion, though. I prefer whatever that... I can't remember what that dress play... It wasn't Lululemon. That's the yoga pants. It sounded like that, though. They had these dresses and, these supposedly very comfortable clothes. They were comfortable, but they were the ugliest, least flattering clothes on the face of the earth, and everyone looked dumpy as shit in them. I had a dress. I was literally the thinnest I've ever been in my adult life in 2017. And a friend had given me one of their dresses. And it was comfy. But every time I looked at myself in the mirror, it was like, you look like you're from the Midwestern plains. Let me put my hair in some pigtails and go hoe some fucking fields here. It's comfy material, but it was not flattering cuts. Anyways. Ooh, but then think about that. People who sell MLMs, it's all about someone else's work that's usually not very good or a product that's not very good. And they're selling that for the other person while simultaneously making it all of part of their identity. I'm an Avon lady. I sell Mary Kay. Right? I'm an entrepreneur. I sell Monat or whatever it is, Tupperware. Right?
Yeah. I'm
a Christian. Would you like to pray together? I didn't come up with any of this, and I don't even know what most of it means because the words are too big and they've dumbed my education down. So I can't understand the words that are in this book, but some old white dude tells me that I should be afraid and, repent. So I should listen, right? Well, probably only if you have an unhealed inner child and that old white dude reminds you of your fucking grandfather, to be perfectly honest. Or your dad, or your uncle, or your mom, or the preachers that were traumatizing you when you were a kid, being religiously programmed. Ooh! The Matrix runs fucking deep, people. And it is not what you've been programmed to believe it is. It's this shit. This is actually the Matrix that everybody's talking about. Yeah. But it's the old paradigm. You have to have a Matrix to exist in a physical realm. That's just but it's an energetic grid. You must have an energetic grid of collective consciousness cohesion to exist in a physical plane of existence together. So when everybody looks at this queen-sized bed that's like 100 years old, that needs a refinishing, we all see that little bit right there where the finish has come off. I'm talking about the headboard right behind us. Right? We all see that. Right. We have to be in a matrix to all see that blemish on that headboard, and even to see that it's the same kind of wood. It could even, it could be cherry wood for one person and poplar for somebody else. If we weren't in a matrix. Yeah. You have to be in a matrix to be in a physical realm. That is how the energetic coding works. I cannot explain it. I do not have sources for this. That's just my fucking cosmic job. Get over it. It's my specialty. If you don't like it, stop listening. I'm cranky. I'm sick of this shit. I'm angry. The manifester is pissed. I'm over this crap because it's making people broke. It's making people depressed. People want to talk about spiritual psychosis and spiritual bypassing. What the fuck do you think is leading to the spiritual psychosis? It is the lack of ego and identity that is being programmed into people as spiritual awareness and new earth bullshit, and I'm over it.
Exactly.
Okay? I'm over it.
And there's a difference between having an ego and having your identity and having a programmed ego and identity.
Yeah, and the ego's not bad.
No.
The ego is literally, here is who we are, here is how we move through the world, here is our identity, here's where we're from. It's your coding. Ooh.
They just code you at an early age to make you think differently.
Well, yeah, but also the truth is, my legal name is what it is, and I was born where I was.
Right.
And that's not false coding. That's the real accurate coding of my incarnational experience this time. I don't need to reprogram that. I need to open up to the fact that there's a lot of code I'm not looking at if that's all I believe there to be. That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. When you exclusively identify as, Jane Smith from Boston, Massachusetts, who has a mom and a dad and two sisters and, grew up here and exclusively does this and exclusively does that and blah, 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 right? It's not wrong. It's who you are right now. It's not the sum total of all you have ever been or all you will ever be.
Right.
But that's the thing is people are trying to, I'm Sister Mary Dolphin Princess. I'm not Jane Smith. You're still Jane Smith. You still chose to incarnate as Jane Smith. You still planned the incarnational experience as Jane Smith. You still chose the vessel of Jane Smith. You chose the parents of Jane Smith. You chose the whole ass experience of Jane Smith. And if you open up to your multidimensionality, you'll realize why you chose the incarnational experience of Jane Smith. And that's what they don't want you to see. So that's why they're trying to convince you there's something wrong with your coding or your ego. Your ego is just a compass to the coding of your identity. Every time I have tried to get rid of my ego, I have had the worst periods of my entire fucking life. I will never do it again. Call me as egotistical as you want. I'm going to say thank you. Yes, I am. I'm going to go do more now. Okay? We are going to tune into our identities. We're going to stop trying to sweep our little human identity under the rug, and we're going to own and value the fact that we chose it. And we're also going to own and value the fact that we can amend our identity and our coding at any point in time. We can reprogram, we can repattern, we can shift. Can be like, well, yeah, I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I did grow up in Antlers, Oklahoma, and I did live most of my life in Texas. But now I just don't really vibe with that identity of myself. And that recoding is very difficult for people because you're so programmed to never change. Change is bad. Don't change. But in order to open up the rest of your data files and access your coding, your full multidimensional, full spectrum coding, you have to be willing to change because you have to open up to the fact that you're not just Jane Smith. The only place that I've been born I've been born all over the multiverses. Yeah, I was like, well, if I'm born right here at this exact time, I've got the exact charts of my dreams. So sign me up, boys. I'm convinced I was far more interested in what my astrology and human design charts were going to say and what that coding was going to give me than I gave one flying fuck about who my biological mother was or where I was actually born. Like, I was looking at what I wanted to experience. And that's also what your human design and astrology and all of these charts and things, they give you the blueprint of what you chose.
Right.
So when people are like, I'm a Scorpio and I just don't identify with that at all, I think all of astrology is wrong. I'm like, ooh, we are really in denial. We're really in denial about what we chose to experience and who we are. We're really in denial about who we have chosen to be across time and space. I'm an Aquarius across time and space. That's just how I am, And I own that. I'm a manifester across time and space. And you know what I found out today? My baby, who is aggressively kissing me right now. Hi, baby. Hi. Hi, baby.
Giving all the love.
Hi,
and
baby.
hugs.
It is the baby's birthday on 9/11. And she's a manifester, you guys, just like mommy.
Yeah.
And now I understand why she just starts like rage barking at people sometimes. Oh, I love you. She wakes up in the morning. Oh, we're having kissies. Hold on. She's like, okay, mommy, enough angry. We need to vibe now. That's true. Mommy's expressed it. We have to express the anger. We have to bark.
Yeah.
I now have a headcanon that manifestors are the Shetland sheepdogs of the human design world. Is that it? Do you think the projectors are the golden retrievers? Michael's a projector. He's got total golden retriever energy. I love it. I literally said to him the other day, I was recording a Telegram voice note to send to a private client, and I was saying that I wanted to go get coffee and maybe go for a drive. And when I said the word drive, his head literally popped up. He was doing some website work, and his head popped up. And he was like, drive. And I was like, oh my God, that's the cutest thing ever. And it was great because my client overheard the whole thing in the Telegram note, and she loved it too. So I thought that was fabulous. It's the energy. So yeah, let's go out. Let's all be far more egotistical than we've been allowing ourselves to be. Because I'm telling you, if you're listening to this, you don't have an ego problem. Okay. Our egos have been eradicated. They have been torn down and systematically destroyed by the spiritual matrix that is basically, it's the same damn stuff. It's the same energy. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it the shitty priest in the mystery school, or the shitty priest shitty priest kind of does actually come into this multiple times. The shitty priest in, the Catholic Church, the shitty priests in, there's shitty priests in paganism. There's shitty priests in the satanic religions, right? Mm-hmm. It's interesting. It's almost like when you give certain people power, they abuse it, and that's all there is to it. And then they try to, but again, that's also this is a cult technique, right? This is something that cults do. They dehumanize people. How do they do that? They eradicate the identity of the individual. You are part of the family, right? You're part of the gang. Mm-hmm. Cults, gangs, narcissistic family structures. All three do this. Think about the family. And it's usually tied to some sort of family connection, because most gangs, most cults, most things like that, narcissistic family structures, groups headed by a narcissist that call themselves a family but say that they aren't, a cult or a gang. Still headed by a narcissist. They're always headed by a narcissist. A narcissist who works to systematically, over time, minute detail by minute detail, eradicate through erosion of the individual identity of each member of their group. That's what they're doing. And right now, you're seeing that play out in spiritual business a lot. There's a lot of people out here who are claiming to be coaches, who are claiming to be healers, who are claiming to be practitioners, who are claiming to be witches, who are claiming to be readers, who are claiming to be all of this stuff, who are doing the exact same thing. They're trying to get you to eradicate your ego. And I'm sick of it. And I'm so mad because I'm so sick of people feeling so disempowered. I'm so sick of talking to people who can't make their dreams come true, who feel so alone. You don't feel alone when you have a strong sense of self. You don't. Right? I see this on threads all the time. I want to create a safe space for people who feel alone like I have so much. And I'm going to be honest, I fell into that too. And you know what I realized? I only started feeling so alone because I was around one of those groups. And it systematically eradicated my individual sense of identity. And when I left that group, I experienced the fallout of that. Those groups exist all over the place. Almost every single person's in one. They don't even realize it. It can even be the groups that you're in to further your spirituality, to further your business, to further your personal growth, all of it, to heal. So you have to be aware of what is going on here and then, really take your power back and go, no, I'm going to be egotistical. I'm going to have a really strong sense of identity. I'm going to celebrate myself. I'm going to enjoy myself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna value myself. I'm going to place worth on myself. One thing I've noticed is that the more value and the more worth that an individual places on themselves, the more money they make. There's a reason disempowered people are poor. And it has nothing to do with whether or not those disempowered people deserve money or not. Everyone deserves safety, security, comfort, love, feeling whole, feeling like they are valued, are worthy. And all of these structures have been designed to make people feel the exact opposite. So we're going to yeet that within. We're not going to go out and rage against. I'm raging against the machine in this podcast episode, but that's it, right? You can probably hear my anger has subsided. I have realized I used to do a lot of vocal processing through my recording and stuff, and I haven't been doing as much of that lately, so definitely got to get back into that. But we're not out here fighting other people. I'm not going to go tell people on threads that they're stupid when I see them posting stuff like this. I'm going to record a podcast episode calling them all stupid, and then if they wander onto this, they get told they're stupid. Otherwise, I'm just telling other people, these people are stupid. Stop listening to them.
Yeah.
And if you're you're judgy, yeah, the fuck I am. Get over it and get off my channel if you don't like it. That's all I've got to say. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. I am so sick of it. This spiritual fucking matrix silenced all of us.
Yeah.
It silenced us from calling it out because you're not spiritual. You're low vibe. Oh yeah, this is a low vibe episode, honey. And you know what? You know what I found is that in frequency therapy, you have to have the low frequency for it to be effective. It's not as we've tested for years now. It's not as effective in frequency therapy if you only have the high vibrations. If you've only got 852 on there and you have no low note, it's not going to be effective. People don't feel very much from it. That's why people feel so much from ascended frequencies, because we did something completely revolutionary. No one was using a low note before us, by the way. We started that in 2022. I've been doing frequency healing and therapy and research since 2018. No one used a low note before us. Nope. No one had thought about using a low note before us because they were all so fucking focused on the high frequencies. Mm-hmm. It's got to be high vibe only, high vibe tribe. All right, well, you go do a $111 masterclass on ego eradication, and I'm going to definitely not take it, right? Mm-hmm. So, be egotistical. Go develop your sense of identity as much as you possibly can. Look at yourself with as much love and adoration as a billionaire does. Because, to be honest, I don't think most of those billionaires really deserve the love and adoration that they give themselves, but they still give it every fucking day. They wake up and think that they are God's gift to the entire fucking planet. Why don't you? Why don't you? Why don't you wake up every day? Just try it for the rest of the week, whenever you're listening to this. If it's a Friday, just try it for the next 2 days. If it's a Monday, try it for the next 2 days, whatever. Just wake up for the rest of the week and tell yourself every morning, I am God's gift to man. I am the universe's gift to the world, right? Earth is so fucking lucky that I'm here. The people that I'm here to work with are so incredibly lucky that they get to pay me. Try it. Come up with some more affirmations like that that really resonate with you, right? It's going to feel like, oh my God, I'm being such an egotistical cunt. Good. Be an egotistical cunt. Be it. Be everything that they've programmed you not to, because that's actually where your power is. They programmed you not to do that stuff because they wanted all of the power. They wanted to take your power.
Yeah.
Stop letting them.
Yeah.
You want to fight the spiritual war, fight it within yourself. Okay? We're not fighting externally anymore. We are reprogramming ourselves. We are actually valuing ourselves. We are having a sense of worth. We are kissing our puppies and hugging them because they're just going to have a BF if they don't get a huggy. My little Virgo sun. She's an Aries moon. And we're not sure what time she was born. So she's either a Scorpio rising or an Aries rising. But I think she's a Scorpio rising because her daddy's a Scorpio moon.
Yeah.
Hi, she's aggressively kissing me. Oh my God. She's like, yes, mother, preach. It is Sunday and I have taken everyone to church, by the way. It's Sunday as I'm recording this. I think that's kind of fun.
During the same hours, too.
During the same hours. That's it. I should start every Sunday. I should record a Sunday sermon.
I think so, too. It's much better than any church sermon I ever went to, that's for sure.
You know what's funny is, hi. Okay, we must, hold on. Thank you.
Or even worked out.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. She just keeps kissing me. That was right in the mouth. She just stuck her tongue right in my mouth. Just straight into my mouth. Okay. Well, that happened. I love you. Kissy? You want another? Now you don't want another? Oh, then I've got another kissy. Okay. Well, now we've had a love fest. You're just the prettiest baby I've ever seen in my whole existence. I don't know what to tell you. You know, Mira's incarnated as a little girl on some fun little alien worlds where you can have like dog ears and be a little girl. And, I can remember what she looked like. And it was so cute. You're always so cute across time and space. She very much looked like, when she was in that incarnation, she very much looked like Hermione did in the second Harry Potter movie in Chamber of Secrets, when she thought she had Millicent Bulstrode's hair and actually had cat hair. That's a pretty accurate depiction of a lot of Syrian incarnations, but instead of cats, think dogs. Anyway, so it was super cute. She looked adorable. And sometimes when I see her in her little like 15-pound Shetland sheepdog form, I'm like, oh, remember when you were a little girl and you also had those ears? So anyways, I'm going to go now. Hope you've enjoyed this rant. I definitely didn't think it was going to be an hour long, but to be honest, I kind of missed my long recordings. And I can do whatever the fuck I want. And also, here's the thing, right? Hold on. I'm going to transmute something for myself real quick. I'm actually really sick of people who are like, oh my gosh, you create so much content. I just can't keep up. Then go listen to somebody who creates less. Go listen to someone who's less, right? Go be less. That's fine. I create the amount of content that like I want to create. And if I want to create hour-long podcast episodes, I can. I don't have to be everything for everyone. I don't have to fit my genius into your 10 minutes that you have between like, you know, taking your kids to school or whatever fitting in the matrix that you're trying to do today. That's not actually who I'm talking to. And I'm going to record an episode soon about, that one of my main principles in business is knowing who you're talking to and what you're saying. But I just realized that for myself as I was kind of like sitting here, recording this is like, I'm not for the person who's just trying to get, 10 minutes here and there and who has the attention span of like a goldfish and who is not all in and who is not wanting to listen to every single fucking word that I'm saying. I'm just going to be real, right? I record stuff for people who are listening to every single bit of what I'm saying. Just like, yes, preach it, queen. Not like, oh my God, that's too much. I'm not going to listen to that. Oh, I don't have the time to listen to like an hour-long podcast episode, whatever. I used to listen to that's how I started Harvest Rose, was podcasts. I listened to podcasts like most of the day when I was starting Harvest Rose while I was at my muggle job. Okay?
It can be done.
It can be done. It can absolutely be done. And I'm just really kind of sick of people who basically are attempting to program me into what they want. They want to consume my content, but only if it works for them. They want to consume my content, but only if it's small enough for their little attention span to hold. They want to consume my content, but only if it's just shallow enough for them to also consume their 15 spiritual BFFs podcasts that day too. Which is why they all want so little. They want a lot and very little depth. Right? But that's not who I am. That's not what my work's like. That's not who I'm for. So, yeah, it was an hour-long episode. And it will probably continue to be hour-long episodes because I really like to record long-form content for a podcast. It allows me to say everything I want to say. After I've been on Instagram for over a decade, I've had to shove my words into increasingly smaller and smaller videos that I can't even communicate what I want to communicate now on Instagram. The art is completely, I've completely just lost the enjoyment of Instagram. The art's gone. It's boring. I don't want another 8-second fucking B-roll video. I want to speak. I want to express. I don't want to have to confine myself. I don't want to compromise either. One of my favorite Eartha Kitt interviews, it's one of my favorite examples of energy on this planet, is her, what do you mean I have to compromise? I'm not going to compromise. It's that interview. I love it. I post it on Threads every time I find it. I post it everywhere. Every time I see it posted anywhere, I always share it. I love that interview. She's talking about a man. But why the fuck should I have to compromise on my work? For what? For what? Like Eartha would say, for what? For nothing. Stop compromising. Stop compromising. Be more egotistical. That is your Sunday sermon. That is your spiritual mission for the week. Stop compromising. Be more egotistical. Okay? And do it with extreme adoration and love for yourself because you're worth that.